Hello, friends. Welcome back to Attack the Pantry. I am Jenn Vega. This stream is a deep dive into ingredients, cooking techniques, and recipes to help you cook for yourself during the panini and, the rest of your adult life. Say hello and throw us an egg in the chat if you like what you're seeing or hearing. That is how we show love around here. Last time on Attack the Pantry, we talked to my old roommate, Jeff Stockton, about cooking for his toddler, Augie, as well as why you should not try rum in college. He has a good reason for that. You can watch all the past clips here on my channel. If you click on videos, the entire archive is located at youtube.com/JENNDLV. And let me make sure I can put that link on the screen for you. There you go. Check it out. Bear Claw, there is a reason why he said not in college, but yes, his advice in the end was try all the rum. Yes, totally. We love rum. We love rum here. Few business items to get out of the way here. I am a Twitch affiliate, my friends. That means for every bit, cheer, and subscription to this channel, that means you're sending real, actual change in dollars to me, the creator, to make this stream better every time. StreamYard isn't free, okay? Yeah. You can gift a subscription to your favorite creators every month if you click on that purple button that says gift a sub, and you'll get a cute little crown next to your name in the chat. One shortcut for that is if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can connect your Prime account to Twitch every month, and it will gift the subscription automatically. Isn't that nice? Wow. Lots of really good links below the video, but one way to help us out today, right now, is to tell people that you're watching this stream or retweet my most recent tweet to let people know that you're watching, because the more the merrier, and the more people that are learning about cooking, the better food we're all going to have later on, I think. It's an investment. How is everybody today? Let's get the show on the road. I have a guest today, and I am so excited to have this person here. Please welcome my friend, Zilla. Hi.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here with you guys and everyone in the chat. Bear Claw Raw. I love the names already that we have of the friends in the chat. We're going to have a blast.
We are. Where are you coming in from, Zilla?
I'm coming in from Rockaway Beach, Queens, New York.
No way. What?
Actually, not that far from where you went skating. There's a skate park like right up the block.
Oh yeah, I love that skate park. Yeah. It's a good skate park.
It's a skate park. I don't skate, so it's just like a cluster. It's like if I ever want to know what I should be wearing, I just go look at the skate park. All the fashionable kids hanging out in the Rockaway. That's why Jenn was there.
Oh, thanks. Giving me more credit than I deserve, really, about that. So Zilla, what is it that you do these days?
Is this like prepping me for a conversation with my father?
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. I'm into it. What do? I am a comedian and writer. And writer-comedian. So that kind of explains not only how we met, but also why we got along so well. But yes, I'm a comedian. I'm also on Twitch. I host a show called Zilla Vision. That's on the Comedy Hub every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be transitioning to Thursdays. But I do a weekly Twitch show. I love Twitch a bunch. It was something I started because of the panini.
Yes.
But I am not leaving. So y'all are stuck with me, Twitch.
There's Zilla's username on the screen and in the chat. Make sure that you are following. Welcome, Gran Noche. Thanks for all the hype in the chat. And you already started explaining a little bit, but yeah, how do we know each other?
So Jenn and I know each other because of something, the magic of technology via Zoom.
Yes.
We were able to, at a time when I really needed a Cheers. It was like Cheers, like, you know, the little bar where it's like you show up to the Zoom, it's the writing, but everybody here knows my name. We're all gonna have a drink and talk about our feelings. So it was very much cute little sitcom going on. We had a writers group that was just fantastic, and this
Yes.
incredible like wellspring of just no two of us were the same. And we
Yes.
all were good writers. Swear to you. And I took creative writing in college, so I know when you be sitting through some of these. But everybody in our class was awesome. It was a great experience. But that's how Jen and I met.
Yeah. So there's this writer named Nate Wagner that I found via Instagram. Some people in the chat may know Branson Reese, but he is a friend of mine, and he recommended Nate's workshop to me. And he had gone through it himself, and like wanted, I expressed interest in joining writing groups because I did not do the creative writing thing in college. I did technical writing, which
Ooh
was
la loo.
not as fun.
Yes,
Not as fun, no.
but it somehow informs your writing style, which is really dope.
It did. I mean, it really helped me because now I'm a recipe writer. So it was, just straight mapping there. But it's really cool to stretch my muscles in a different way. And this workshop, actually, Zilla, I don't think you knew this, but I honestly had never written like that before. I'd never,
you could have
never
fooled
really
me, homegirl.
Yeah, storytelling is something that I'm pretty new to in 2021 in general. So that includes my podcast that I'm on now. People are always surprised. They're like, "You've never done improv before? You've never written stories before?" And I'm like, "I'm trying, man. Like, it's new."
You're doing. I love it.
Actually, I should have saved a picture of it, but I met Spencer in real life.
What?
Last week.
So I booked a comedian that knows Spencer. And Spencer sent their recommendation, their tape to me, and then I booked them when they moved here.
Oh, that's so funny.
Raul and I have I've seen him all over the city, so it's so funny. I'm telling you guys, this incredible little group, we lucked out. It was like a sitcom. Everybody was different. Everybody had their thing. It was lovely.
We even had a mom.
Yes,
we had a mom in our writing group. It was so cute. It was real cute. But anyway, yeah, friends, that is how we know each other, from a writing group. And it is not impossible, let me say this, to make friends past the age of 30.
Oh, anybody, you see these posts, right? Those memes that say things like that. That's a monster. What do you mean you're not making friends past 30? Like, what? Come on. You gotta, whenever you start a new job, you need at least one homie, even if it's just a job homie. Like, you gotta continue making friends. But also we did, I think that's the one thing I will say, that sometimes I talk to people and they're like, you did writing over Zoom, or you do comedy over Zoom, or Twitch isn't the same. Here's the thing. We dabbled in it, you and I both, because of the panini. And now we see like this wonderful ability to like communicate with others through technology, kicking back to your tech background. Do you know what I mean? I get it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm into it. I'm open to new horizons is kind of my whole outlook. I'm like, oh, just be open to all these new experiences, and then we can always readjust later if we don't like it.
Absolutely. I mean, I do back to your friend thing. I do have friends from high school, but imagine if you only had friends.
Oh, Lordy. Yeah.
I don't think that's not,
That's actually something I was talking to another acquaintance recently about. High school friends have this base knowledge of you that they understand even in your, later 30s, and like you could just pick up with them again, which is so cool. Like I forgot that feeling because I went to a wedding 2 weeks ago, and it was with my high school friends. My high school best friend got married. But yeah, it's fascinating. We're re-examining our lives here during this indoor time.
Yes. And I do think so. I have a best friend who I've known since she's like my closest best friend, and like business. We collaborate on things. She's a painter. We collaborate on art. We've known each other for 25 years, and there is a
Yes.
luxury, right, to knowing someone from high school, but also sometimes you want to go have dinner with somebody who doesn't know about that one time you fell in front of everybody at gym
Right.
class.
Yes.
So it's like you also want to have friends that know you only as the like successful, fully functioning human
Right.
version of you.
I've edited myself enough that
Yes, the
I'm not
curated me.
not a complete failure in front of this person.
Not like an awkward, because boy, my awkward phase was so awkward. Like some people diminish that. No, mine was
Mine
like,
was real bad. Mine was so bad. I had braces for 10 years, excuse me.
I I was more of a just I didn't one of the reasons why I love people who choose a certain style and stick to it is I was always those ones that like trends would come and go and I'd try some of them and they just wouldn't work at all. You know what I mean? Like sometimes a cut of jean or like, so I just always I didn't know how to like embrace myself, like self. So I was just always trying to like fit. I was a square peg into a round hole, like for at least until 29. So I'm with Bear Claw Raw, who said they didn't even meet their girlfriend until their mid-30s. Yeah, I just got fine-tuned. We're moving
We're
forward.
all just improving, just incrementally, a little bit, and finding the right pair of jeans eventually.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, friends, I think it's time for that next segment of the show. I'm going to share my screen, and I promise you there is no porn. Not like that's something you'd worry about with me, but anyway, welcome to my screen. And I've got the chat
Ooh.
open on my phone so I can still see what y'all are saying. Yeah. But if you would like to be featured in this segment of the show, please do not forget to tag me on Instagram and Twitter with your cooking photos. Or if you see something at the store or at the farmer's market, you don't know what to do with it, take a picture and we'll talk about it. All right, let's see what people have sent in this week. Anthony sent in this tweet that I did not know. Every good New Yorker knows you can have your local deli professional slice open a Jamaican beef patty and add cheese, but it was not until tonight that the idea of a bacon, egg, and cheese in a beef patty reached my consciousness, and reader, it slaps.
So,
what?
This reminds me of the turducken incident of the 2010s. Like,
Right.
you can't be. I don't know. So there's things you can do lots of things, but it's what you should do. And a Jamaican beef patty, sure, with a slice of cheese,
Delicious.
fantastic.
Yes,
and
amazing.
this other thing, I'm sure. But now we're going into like deep Chicago deep dish levels of like, yeah, I guess we could do that, but do we need
should
to
we? Yeah. Do we need it? Do we need it?
Because this is a lot. My stomach.
Yeah, your stomach's hurting from it already, right?
My stomach was like, girl, if you ever do that to me, you think high school was bad. I'm gonna make you look terrible in front of your friends.
If I assault you with this sandwich. This relates heavily to a conversation I had with Emily a month ago, I think. My friend Emily was a guest here on Attack the Pantry, and we, for over an hour, discussed what makes food cursed. And I think this latter half of the sentence would be pretty cursed.
Yeah. Because I just don't think, my guy, that the like bacon, eggs, so chicken embryos, come on, like I never call them that, but for now I have to, because you're doing bacon, you're eating pig, you're eating beef, and then it's like it's like the beef in a Jamaican beef patty, not an actual factual one, like where you go get roti, like those are great ones, but they're talking about the
frozen one.
Yes, that has the like meat that is like it I think
questionable.
Yes.
Questionable Taco Bell meat product.
Meat product. Okay, so we're looking at bacon,
beef.
Meat product. It's a lot. That's a lot.
It's a lot. Follow-up question though. What is your go-to bodega order?
I mean, I like bacon, egg, and cheese or sausage, egg, and cheese if it's just me trying to get a breakfast sandwich.
Mm-hmm.
Um, My father worked in a bodega, so I'm actually really straightforward with my order
Oh,
because my
cool.
heart, I always feel like I'm inconveniencing them. Is that
Oh,
terrible?
no,
My
it's
dad
terrible.
my dad made bodega sandwiches for like years, and he makes a fantastic tuna sandwich. So I'm gonna say that
Oh,
is my favorite bodega sandwich is my father. He takes all the trappings of bodega, but he brings it home. And what he
oh,
does is he gets semolina bread, really good semolina bread, not bodega bread, right? So he's going
yeah.
semolina bread. Not to besmirch my Uncle Jerry's bread, because that's what it was. My Uncle Jerry owns a bodega.
That's
So,
awesome.
but dad would go to Grimaldi's, get a semolina loaf, then he would cut it and he would do bumblebee tuna, like very straightforward, just tuna salad. And he would it's in the thinness of the lettuce and tomatoes. My father makes lettuce look like tinsel, like he takes it so
Oh, yeah, yeah,
seriously.
yeah.
And then he lays it over and then he does the salt and the pepper and the olive oil and the vinegar. And I'm biased because that's daddy. But yeah, I also do think anything with when it comes to these new bodegas, these new Bushwick, new
Oh,
with
no,
the U
no,
with the
no.
umlaut, you could get some
Yeah.
avocado, some brie. Come on, do it up. Just don't mix so many meats. That's where I get scared.
Yeah.
Don't mix meats like that.
I have never heard anyone describe lettuce as tinsel. That is quite beautiful.
As you can tell a bodega girl's a bodega girl because I like put poetry out there.
You just imagine, like, grabbing a chunk and being like, "Tinsel on the tree." That's a wonderful imagery. For me, it's, definitely bacon, egg, and cheese. 1 egg only because I have a small appetite, and then I love a chopped cheese. If they have a grill and they offer a
Ooh, a
chopped
good chopped
cheese,
cheese is
I
good.
gotta get it. Even if
Yeah.
I've already eaten dinner, I'll probably order it anyway.
But look, so here's and that's the thing with this tweet. It's not that I'm against, it's not that any like the questionable meat sometimes is you go to at the bodega, but you gotta like limit, like
Mm,
it's even sometimes they do crazy shit with the chopped cheese. I'm like, no, just the it's delicious. Just the
yeah,
chopped
just
cheese.
leave the chopped cheese, yeah. It's ground beef, it's cheese, it's
Yes.
lettuce and onion and maybe tomato, but not
Yeah,
really
or hot sauce,
or hot
but that's
sauce,
about
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, very simple, very good. It's gotta catch all that, grease from the flat top. That's what
Oh
makes
yes.
it so good.
That is what so that's the thing that is also important about every bodega sandwich. It gotta be a bodega that's jumping. There
Mm,
gotta be at least 2 other people or 1 other
right.
person or some people behind you. Because if it's an empty bodega, you're playing roulette here.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. That is some sound advice. That is
Yeah.
some sound advice. Amazing. Thank you, Anthony, for sending me this tweet. Like it sparked a very like
That was
long
beautiful. Yeah, yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
Uh, my friend David has a Twitter bot. Like I'm obsessed with Twitter bots
Okay.
because they just tweet things periodically and they can be really specialized. So like there are lyric bots. Like if you have a favorite band, there's usually a bot that just tweets random lyrics from your favorite band. Like there's a Mitski bot, there's a Rilo Kiley bot. This one is David's Glitch TV bot. The username is Glitch TV bot. And I've always just been joking about chicken tendies or chicken tenders. I joke about chicken tenders a lot. And I told this story a couple weeks ago. I was catering a wedding, and I always order out for the staff lunch. Like, because, we're working all day cooking for other people, but we don't have enough time to cook for ourselves. So I always order chicken tenders for me. That is my treat meal while I'm working at a wedding. And someone mistakenly, or I don't know, on purpose, ate my chicken tendies. And so I just would tweet all caps, "Someone ate my chicken tendies."
Oh
And so
no.
people start sending me photos of chicken tendies or tender sandwiches or something like that. And so
Wow.
David caught one on the Glitch TV bot. There's a chicken sandwich that's very glitchy.
I like this. This looks like a very expensive painting.
Yes, it does,
Like,
doesn't it?
right? Like where there's this like I could see this hanging at the moment, people staring at it for a very long time. I have to tell you, we have a thing on Zilla Vision where I constantly, whenever I can, bring up the fact that there's this weird trend going on
Yeah.
of food shaming. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know if you've seen this where it's like, if we go out and we're on a date and you order chicken tenders, you're not getting shut the hell up,
Oh
please.
no, let's not
Yes.
shame anybody about what they
Yes, that
order.
do not I understand, like, this weird rationale people have. There's people that only eat chicken tenders all day, even if what would you care? What do you care?
What does
Let
it
let
matter?
these people live.
It's their
Yes,
body, not yours.
and we're so pro chicken tenders, and also, I just have to say though, guys, if I for me, if you would like a recommendation, because this is one of the few ones I have had of recent, there's a
Mm.
place in DC or in Philly called Federal Donuts. And Federal Donuts makes the best chicken sandwich. It is a Korean fried chicken sandwich. And all they sell is chicken sandwiches and donuts. That's it. Nothing else.
I love. I
If you
need it.
if you can go, it's amazing. Federal Donuts, there's multiple locations. They
I'm
are all
all about
fantastic.
that. Thank you. That's a wonderful recommendation. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's catch up in the chat here. Yes, that previous tweet was clearly a drunk one, Toria. Good to see you. Glad you're here. Yeah, it's like an all-American meat trio supergroup, the previous thing we were talking about. Let's see. Toria says, I saw an old ad about chopped cheese the other day, but it looked like a Philly cheesesteak mushed with cheese, basically. Yeah, the key difference between a Philly cheesesteak and a chopped cheese is the cheesesteak is shaved beef and the chopped cheese is ground beef. That's
Yes.
the big difference. Yeah, bear claw, chicken tendies with honey. And what is a stinger? Please do explain to us what a stinger is. Yeah, we shame ourselves enough, Toria. We really don't need other people to shame us about the things we order. And David, you made it. Glad to see you in the chat. Let's see. Bards Gambit says chicken tenders aren't something insane like cottage cheese and coffee or something.
Oh, remember that whole trend where people was putting crazy stuff in their coffee? Like,
Yes.
and also look, if you do that, cool, do that. But you don't have to start telling everyone else to do it. They were doing coconut oil, right? Or
That's right. I remember that.
butter. I remember when they were telling people to put
I
butter in their
remember the
coffee.
butter. I remember when people were spending so long whipping it and making Valrhona coffee or
Oh yeah, yep.
something. Am I saying the wrong word? Valrhona is the type of chocolate. Sorry.
But it's you mean the like consistency
Yes.
almost. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like thick. It's just really funny because I don't drink coffee. So I've always been left out of these trends.
Oh, with coffee? Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
don't drink
know,
any coffee.
I held steady until about 22, and then I worked in an office at 22, and it was the first really stressful job I had. Like I'd had jobs before, but never really stressful. And on like the second day, the older secretary came in and was like, "Here's coffee. You're
Here's
gonna have to
coffee.
start now.
Coffee. Here's your
Like
coffee.
this is what are you doing? We don't. You better drink coffee here. Yeah, space alien."
Yeah. Geo sent over these egg earrings that they found on Etsy, and I think I actually do have these.
Those are nice. I
They're
like those.
cute. We love seeing egg paraphernalia from around the internet, so please send it in if you spot it, or tag me if you see it on Instagram or Twitter. I love them.
I'd like
And
to tell people just to trick the people when dudes are looking at my egg earrings. I'd be like, "Hey, eyes up here, buddy. Hey, don't look at my eggs."
Don't look at my eggs. This is a beautiful thing. My friend Malaka is an illustrator, and she has this really wonderful graphic novel called "I Was Their American Dream," and it's about her upbringing, being half Arabic and half Egyptian. I'm sorry, I misspoke. Half Egyptian, half Filipinx. And so she has this wonderful graphic novel, and she doodles all over Twitter. But this specific image was inspired by me. I was making lumpia for Christmas last year,
Oh,
and she like kind of imagined what my Brooklyn apartment would look like, and doesn't look like that, but it was a very sweet image of making lumpia and
Is
then
that a Christmas card?
yes, it is.
It's
Isn't
adorable.
it? So yeah, she imagined what it would be like making lumpia with me and being on Zoom on the other side. And so it was very sweet inspiration for this card. And so she's going to send me some. And maybe I'll send some to a few lucky folks here on the Twitch channel.
Ooh.
Isn't that nice? There's this wonderful little thing in the window. I don't know if you can see if I zoom in a little bit more. No, I can't. Wait, can I zoom in? There you go. Oh, I can zoom in. Oh, I know how to do it now. This little star thing is called a parole, and it's a paper. It's kind of like a piñata, but not exactly. You can use straws or chopsticks to make a star pattern in a circle. You wrap tissue paper around it, it becomes a paper lantern.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a cute tradition from the Philippines. So if anybody wants to try that out this holiday season, you can Google instructions on how to make a parol.
That's awesome.
Yeah, adorable. And we got a food photo from my friend Andrew, who goes by the name Wordloaf on Twitter. He also has a wonderful newsletter where he shares the recipe for this hot cheese bread. I mean, look at it. Look at it. It's overflowing.
That looks very good.
It kind of looks like a giant garlic knot.
It does look like, at first when you pulled it up, I was like, is that a giant garlic knot? But that it is. You said it's cheese bread?
Yeah.
What type of cheese do they use?
I don't know. It looks like it's a mozzarella or a jack cheese. I'll share the link to the newsletter later so that folks can try to make this at home. But I mean, doesn't it look so comforting and you just want to pull it apart?
Yes, and also shout out to when cheese gets crispy on the edges.
Yes.
That is such good peak food there.
We love that. We love that. You know what that's called when a cheese melts over the edge of something and burns on the bottom?
Oh, let's give it to me.
It's called a cheese skirt.
A cheese skirt? That's so cute.
Isn't that cute?
Aw.
Yeah, because when you use a spatula to bring it up, you have this like outer edge of cheese. It's called a cheese skirt. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
That's great. I think that's all that people sent in this week. So, folks, if you want to be featured in this segment, please remember to send your photos to me either via DM or tag me on Instagram and Twitter. I have a few updates. Let's see. I went to a concert last weekend called Basilica Sound Bath. It's an annual festival. It's usually drone oriented. But because of COVID, they decided to not have a whole day festival. They just decided to have an evening concert. And it was this very wonderful collaboration between, I forget his last name, but his name is Robert. His artist name is Lichens, like the forest material lichen. Yeah. And it was a collaboration between Robert and this woman who goes by Circuit de Yule. I'm not sure if I'm saying this French correctly, but it was a sound bath in Basilica Hudson, which is kind of a disused church venue in Hudson, New York. So it was upstate. I took the train. It's very cavernous and large. So imagine that it's a 1,200 person venue, but there were only 200 people inside, and have like listening to this echoing, just gorgeous music. This guy, Robert, did the soundtrack to the new Candyman movie.
Oh, yes. I just saw it.
Yeah. So if you thought the music or sounds were a little scary, it's because he used the movie set to sample little bits and pieces like dark corners and like echoing hallways and things like that. And so he used that in the music. And so he played a lot of that stuff, which is really cool.
That must have been, it's also such a treat for like not only are you interested in that type of music, but also it's like Halloween. So that's really cool. Like just such great timing on the Hudson too.
I know. It was like delightfully creepy.
Yeah. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. And let's see. Answering Bear's Claw's question, sound bath like with quartz bowls. It wasn't quite like woo-woo like that. There was a guy that played a few giant gongs which were very actually soothing because he was like, you know, just slowly crescendoing with them, not hitting them like this. But the rest of it was kind of synth based, which is why I was interested in the first place, because I like a lot of electronic music. So it was more of a relaxing electronic music experience with strange, creepy vocals, like woo, you know, kind of shit. But this is the latest album from one of the artists, and highly recommend checking it out if you like that kind of thing, my friends. So I don't know if you've caught any of this on Twitter, Zilla, but I have been watching this anime called One Piece.
Okay.
And I've been tweeting about it every day since June.
Okay. How far into it are you?
Great question. There are a total of 900 and something episodes. They are scheduled to air the 1,000th episode on November 20th. And so I thought maybe I could binge it and try to catch up. No, I won't. But it's an impressive amount of episodes that I've finally gotten to, and I'm at 480.
Wow.
From June.
Wow.
I know. That's 6 months ago.
I've been so many episodes
watching every day. I mean, there's a reason for this, but I do genuinely like it. And every now and then I'll share my favorite screens from my live tweeting. So you'll see this giant thread that I update every day. But there are a few that are just really funny screens. Like, I don't like persistent men.
With the snake earrings.
With the snake earrings.
Twice. All right.
Yeah. Her name is Boa Hancock. So
I like this collar as well.
Yeah, Snake Lady. She's the pirate empress. But she's really funny because she hates men, except for one character who is not really that suave or attractive in that way, but she's like in love with this person.
So tell me, what's the basic plot of One Piece?
It's a pirate anime. Okay. And they're in search of the One Piece, which is a treasure that kind of signifies that you are the king of the pirates. So it's a very long journey.
All right.
Very, very long journey. Lots of characters. It's very vibrant and fun. And the reason why I like it so much is there is tons of food. Lots of food. You gotta eat, even if you're on a boat.
Yeah.
And then this was really a funny thing. The concept of telecommunication in this show is via snails.
Okay.
And so there are a few snails in this shot. There's this one giant snail that's acting as a projector. Like, so they're broadcasting a war in this scene.
Okay.
And there are a few smaller snails on the table that are kind of like as telephones.
Okay.
And so I always thought this was weird that they use snails as communication devices, but that same friend, Anthony, who sent the tweet earlier, sent me an article about a French researcher that researched how snails communicate. Apparently, they have some kind of telepathic link with each other, and humans have been trying to exploit that relationship and make it real for humans. So, like, this is some scary shit.
Okay.
This anime like has latched onto this like very obscure news item that snails can talk to each other. What?
Well, first of all, snails is magic. Snails
is magic.
Snails are like octopus. Octopi. I don't know. There's a whole scandal with yay or nay on octopi, but what I think is interesting is that there's like human understanding of snails and or an octopus hits a wall, and then after that it's like, well, we don't know how they do this shit. So I just love that, like, we can't figure out why an octopus is like a space alien pretty much, you know. And I think snails are on the same level.
Snails definitely are on the same level.
I love that they're the form of communication.
Yes.
The snails are not in charge of communication. They are the actual device.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and another funny thing that happens is whoever's on the other side of the line, that's what the snail you're holding looks like. Like this, the person who's operating the giant snail on the other side of the line has a
It looks like
mustache.
so the snail has their face?
Yeah, or has features from their face.
So
And
that's
then
why this one has a mustache? Okay, okay.
and that's why David said I would love to have a transponder snail that looked like me. Yeah.
Okay.
Mine would have my eyes and it would have the long hair. Mine would have long hair, I think. That would
My
be
snail
my
would have
snail.
hoop earrings. I
Yes.
mean, like I don't make the rules. They just
There's just a funny moment I saw this morning where someone was crying on the phone and the snail started crying. I was like, this is like genius.
This is I'm intrigued. You went from
Yeah.
pirates to snails,
Yeah.
and pirates. I mean, snails. Can they even go near salt water? Doesn't
No,
the
they
snail-
can't.
Oh my god, this is
They
crazy.
get
So
sad.
yeah.
Yeah. I saw one in one of the recent episodes that got really sad when they put it in salt water. I was
Oh
like,
no.
leave
Okay.
the snail alone.
Oh, okay. Oh man, gotta watch One Piece.
I know. I'm the ambassador now. I have some personal news. One of the books that I worked on is coming out next Tuesday. Uh, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful cover.
This is Philippine X, Heritage Recipes from the Diaspora. It's by Chef Angela Di Mayuga from Mission Chinese and Ace Hotels. Or is it Standard Hotels? Oh my god, I should just not say the hotel thing if I don't know what it is. And Ligaya Mishan, who was a restaurant critic for the New York Times. Previously, was hiding her face. How restaurant critics usually stay anonymous. But she is showing her face for this book, which is very exciting.
Ooh.
I'm actually going to the team party tonight to celebrate the release, and then the book is actually coming out next Tuesday. So thank you. It is available for pre-order, everybody, on all the regular places, but I highly recommend checking out bookshop.org so that you can support your independent booksellers. And you'll open it up and see my name in there as the recipe tester and collaborator, which is really amazing. So I turned this in last fall, and it's just really cool to finally be able to talk about it. And share my photos. Like, this is the thing about my job, is that I have like a 1 to 2 year delay before I can talk about anything, which is kind of frustrating because I like to share.
Oh no, this is beautiful.
It's
And
wonderful.
also the food right on the cover looks delicious.
This is
Rice snacks.
tosilog.
Yeah.
Oh no, long silog. It's longanisa, little sausages, and then fried eggs.
And rice, fried egg and rice forever, man.
Yeah, it's garlic fried rice.
Even better. No, that looks great. That looks great.
Yeah, I'm very excited to finally see this book. I actually haven't gotten my copy yet, so I can't wait to get my hands on it. My goodness, my goodness. Some news. This Friday, we are having a watch party of Midnight Diner. We are on season 2, episode 4. So if you'd like to watch this show with us on Netflix, you have to have a Netflix account and then download the Teleparty extension. It opens up a little chat window while we watch, and so we can enjoy together. It's really, really fun. Zilla, have you heard of this show?
No, tell me about it.
Oh, Midnight Diner is this is the master or the chef at the Midnight Diner. It's in Japan, and he opens his diner from midnight to 6 a.m., I believe, or 6 or 7 a.m. So his clientele is unique, and each episode focuses on like somebody from the Cheers kind of grouping of all the regulars. And they all have like interesting stories and go on adventures and things, but it's all centered around the dish that they love ordering there, which is so cool. Yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, this like one of the stories is, this stripper comes in all the time and she loves this dish, and this is and then it kind of does like flashbacks, like why they love that dish.
Oh, that's really cool. That sounds awesome. You said that's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's called Midnight Diner.
And you have a screening on
We do watch-along parties, and it's on this Friday, the 29th at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Boom.
Yeah. So, friends, if you would like to watch with us, you can either join the Patreon or DM me for the link.
Awesome.
Yeah. And then finally, this was an older photo that I posted a while ago. These are savory oats with an egg and bacon and scallions. And my friend Kelly DM'd me, wait, I never thought that oats could be savory. Like, Zilla, have you had savory oats before?
I have not had savory oats. I've heard of them, but I've
Yeah.
never, I mean, I've had the closest equivalent would be when grits. I've had
Yes.
grits. So
exactly. Actually, you could treat savory oats just like grits.
okay, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
But the advice that I gave Kelly was instead of doing just plain water or milk, you would use broth to constitute the oats. So just switch it out in your oat recipe, like read the back of the package, and then cook your oats that way. And then you can top it any which way you want. Like I got some cheese, I got some bacon, some eggs. You could even just do a pat of butter on there as a side, like as you would with grits. So yeah, that was a fun thing. I decided would help if I told more people about it.
No, I like it. That looks good.
So so that's all the stuff I had. And Zilla, now you've sent me some stuff.
Oh, let's talk
We have
about
some talking points here. We have some talking points.
Okay.
Is there anywhere you wanted to start?
No.
Okay. Let's talk about green onions.
Green onions, right?
What about green onions?
Not only a good song by Booker T and the MGs. It's a great song. It's a great song. But green onions lately have been, so you know that whole period of the panini where like fresh stuff wasn't as readily available.
Mm-hmm.
There's a weird, I grew up in a situation where we didn't always have access to fresh food. So we used to have to rely on kind of cabinet staples.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something really cool about taking your regular ass can of soup or whatever soup it is. If you have a dried soup and just even ramen, if you have a packet of ramen and you just throw a little bit of green onion on it, and it just makes it feel so put together. And like, it's just a lovely, nice little thing you can do for yourself if you're not one for really cooking a bunch. It just is.
Yeah.
It adds like a freshness to things that aren't necessarily fresh. And even things like if I have some extra, so if I have them, I won't put them in the fridge. I learned that recently. I put them on my windowsill in a jar with just a little bit of water.
Oh, guess what? Ba-bam.
Boom.
I got mine right here.
Yeah, see? All right. So I have that there and I put it in so many things. Like if I make chili or lentils, throw some on top. Even if I order a soup from out, like if I get like a really good wonton soup, we have a local place in Rockaway, I'll put some just on top. But anyway, so green onions, shout out. Just wanted to share my love of green onions. How do you feel about green onions, Jen?
Yeah, Chen, let us know how you feel about green onions. I go through 2 or 3 bunches a week. Not personally. It's because I I make food for this bar called Wonderville, and we use scallions and green onions and chives a lot in our garnishes because, as you said, it does add that freshness pop that we need on something that's like super salty, like a hot dog. So I use a lot of it, and I always make sure to save the bottom 1.5 inches so that I can regrow it. Did you know you can regrow them up to 4 times?
I didn't know it was up to 4 times. I know you could regrow them, but yeah, because I had to regrow them once again when things weren't as fresh. We were on lockdown in New York. Yeah.
Yeah, I got a lot. I'm gonna keep adding to this cup because I'm going through more scallions tonight.
Oh no, but scallions on a hot dog, take one, and it's funny because hot dogs are also, I think, a good example of like, I know there's fancy hot dogs.
Yeah.
Right. But like a hot dog is also like just the right handful of ingredients make it seem so much fancier.
I know, it's true. It's true. I'm gonna catch up here in the chat with the friends over here. You got a great snail fountain picture from Las Vegas last week. You went to Vegas? Whoa. Thank you, Leah. Good to see you in the chat. Oh, you learned buttered rice from it. It's awesome. I haven't had buttered rice in a long time. Hey, Shmas, good to see you. Glad you made it. Shmas also says there is no meal that won't benefit from a little sprinkle of something green, and green onion is a king amongst greens. Agreed.
That is a good one.
Agreed. Toria says, I've gone off them. I've been subjected to a lot of raw spring onions on really nice meals. It's too much. Oh, I get it. You can get overwhelmed, though. You need to switch it up sometimes. Like, I'll get a bunch of dill also if I get really sick of the scallions. Hello, Chronothermo. Welcome. Welcome to the chat, my friends. We are expressing our love and or hate of scallions.
It's either you don't have to love them.
We don't have to love them, but
I'm gonna have some very unpopular opinions, so I apologize in advance.
But it's a good suggestion if you do want to dress up. I like the way that you put that. If you want to dress up, you know, not so fresh foods or like instant foods or prepared foods, it's one way to really, like, you know, just add a little green. Just add a little green.
Absolutely.
You had mentioned that a friend had duck eggs
and made lemon bars. Yes, and I am a lemon flavor hoe. It's terrible. It's terrible. And I told you I was gonna come with some piper hot, you know, opinions nobody likes. I think it's hilarious. Every time someone's just like, "What monster likes lemon starbursts?" And I'm like, "Me?
I love lemon starbursts."
Yeah. So I love lemon. I do think there's a lot of bad lemon flavor things out there.
Some of them, you know, is like cleaner. Yeah, you don't want the
like
cleaner.
I get it. It's like mint. Some people don't like mint ice cream because it reminds them of toothpaste. So I get it. But recently, my homegirl Samantha, she and another friend of mine, James, run a place called Frolic Farms. They were raising eggs. They have ducks. And she made lemon bars out of duck eggs. And you
lost it, basically.
When you bite something and you're like, damn, girl, you just fucked my whole shit up because I'm going to be thinking about this in 4 days. And
yes.
Like someone invited a new food for you to be like, oh my God, I want that thing now.
All the time.
Yeah. So amazing. With a cup of black coffee or an espresso.
Damn.
Duck egg lemon bars, apparently.
I mean, yeah, duck eggs are, first of all, bigger than chicken eggs. And so was it a little bit richer?
They were definitely denser and richer. And I know that like another turnoff for some people is that the lemon meringue, like some of them kind of taste like gelatinous. They depend so much on like gelatin binders. This was way more almost like a custard because of the duck eggs. So they were really good. And also like they used to have back in the day, they used to have lemon donuts at Dunkin' Donuts and they were very good. But then they discontinued them. They discontinue lemon things a lot. I think
why they hating on the lemon?
They hate on the lemon. It's all right. You know, I know I got old lady habits, but because you know, I feel like old ladies like lemon tarts, but that's me. Come to the house, I'll give you coffee.
I love a lemon bar. Toria says duck eggs for the win. LT is complimenting your New York accent. It's amazing.
Thank you very much.
Shma says, I don't think I've ever had duck eggs in a dessert, only savory applications. I think for me as well. I have not had it in any desserts yet. Toria makes carbonara exclusively with duck eggs now, never going back. That sounds amazing. And for people who don't know what a carbonara is, it's a pasta dish where you've got lardons of bacon, and then you toss the hot pasta with a raw egg yolk so that it makes a silky sauce. So essentially the hot pasta is cooking the egg. Yes, it does sound so good, Shmas. I agree with you. Wow. Man, I don't remember the last time I had a lemon bar. Honestly, now I gotta go seek one out. Thank you.
But watch out, beware, because there's some terrible lemon stuff out there.
Okay, you're right. Oh man, good. This is a good mission for me to find a good ass lemon bar. Okay, going along the lines of more sweet stuff.
Okay, so I don't even like this picture of this pumpkin roll that much. This is just a picture I found online
Right.
because, okay. So 'tis the season. So of course, before Halloween comes, we got to talk about more pumpkin stuff. I know people be freaking out.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm old enough to remember when there was a black market for pumpkin spice. Like you're talking about early internets,
yeah.
early Craigslist,
Yeah.
people who worked at Starbucks was stealing gallons of pumpkin spice and selling them on the pumpkin spice black market.
That's
I'm
really
not
funny.
about that's not me. Um I don't diminish, I like lemon starburst. Who am I to judge you for your pumpkin spice? I would never judge. We don't judge foods here. But I'm not really into pumpkin beer. I'm
Yeah,
not
me
really into
either,
pumpkin
actually. Oh,
coffee.
I can't.
Um, but one pumpkin dessert that is adjacent to pumpkin spice that I mess with is pumpkin roll. I once worked at an Old Navy. These were dark times. I had
What?
just gotten out of college.
What is
And
happening?
like 9/11 happened, the economy was in the toilet. So I worked at an Old Navy, and when I worked at this Old Navy, I had a coworker, a manager named Ginger. Ginger was a G. She would always make us food and bring it. Like, when you work a terrible job
Yes.
and someone brings homemade
Your
food.
coworkers who bring good food?
Once again, make friends after 30, guys. You
Yeah.
have to make
Yes.
good friends to survive. So Ginger, little dynamo, she brought us once a homemade pumpkin roll, and I'd never had. I'd always associated like kind of gross pumpkin cake, and it was a from scratch made pumpkin roll with a
Wow.
mascarpone and cream cheese filling,
Oh,
and it
wow.
was amazing. And once again, it was like the lemon bar where I bit it, and I was like, "Damn, now I'm just gonna keep chasing this high." Like this is gonna be so hard to replicate. But so I mess with pumpkin roll. The only other capacity that I eat pumpkin, and of course the occasional slice of pumpkin pie,
Mm.
but is my dad actually loves to. He's a fantastic cook, bodega sandwich maker, and fantastic cook. He loves to put pumpkin into his stew beans. So like
Oh,
calabaza, like
yes.
hunks
Yes, I've
of
done that.
yes. So it kind of falls apart, and it's
Makes
a
it thicker.
yes, it makes the bean broth thicker. It's great. So like
Mm,
pumpkin roll and pumpkin and beans. So sweet and savory. That's my jam.
I love that. Oh, it's amazing. The pumpkin that I like, I also don't really like a lot of the pumpkin season stuff, but I do love pumpkin tempura. I don't know if anyone has had that in the
I've
chat.
never had that. That sounds
I
delicious.
had it last week in Oakland and it was bomb because you know how soft it gets when it's
Yeah,
cooked,
so in the crispy
the
oh my
crisp outside.
goodness.
Yes, and then it was served with a matcha salt. Like so instead of like a salt like a ponzu sauce, it was a matcha salt that you just dip a little corner in. You don't need a lot. And it was delicious.
Oh, that
And
sounds
and extra, I went pumpkin picking yesterday. With my
ooh.
buddy. I'll show everybody when I get the big screen again. But I also picked up a few little ones that I'll show off later also. Um but I agree with you. I don't like a lot of the other pumpkin culture stuff.
No, people get crazy with it. Like
I know.
there's I saw once like people drink pumpkin beer and then they pour it in the pint glass and then they put like a cinnamon and sugar on the rim.
No,
What are we?
I
No,
can't. No, no,
no.
no.
Uh-uh.
Too much
Not
holiday.
in the beer.
Not in the
Not in, I just
too much.
anytime and I like a good cocktail or I like a good like spirit that has a flavor. But you
Mhm.
always when it comes to something like beer or like um you're gonna get that full feeling and then it's gonna be like cinnamon sugar beer full. I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, when you have alcohol and you keep adding sugar to stuff, it
Yes,
tends to
yes.
give you a
You're playing a
headache the
dangerous
next
game.
day. Yeah. Yeah, I try to stay away from super sugary drinks like that. Headache, especially when I'm having alcohol. My goodness. Oh, okay. You already started to touch on beans.
Yes.
So tell me more about beans in your experience and red beans and rice.
Okay. So, beans in my experience, I like I I have to tone down my excitement for beans because out in these streets, there's rumors that because I'm Puerto Rican, I must love beans. So like I have to rein it in. But I grew up eating beans like almost in every meal.
Yeah.
And so when I think people associate beans, like in my experience growing up, when like my Anglo classmates, their concept of beans was always like baked beans. So they
Yeah.
imagined that all I did was eat baked beans like straight from
Oh
the can.
no, like out of a can? No, no,
Yeah,
no, my
no.
friend. No, no,
So
no.
no. So which though, in a pinch, I wouldn't judge you either if you ate beans out of a can, but um stew beans. I grew up eating a lot of stew beans or beans directly in the rice. So you're talking about pigeon peas
Mm.
and rice, or your standard, the way when you go to a Mexican restaurant, they'll have beans and rice on the side and just things
Mhm.
like that. And the first time that I ever had the experience of trying to replicate, one of the other cool things about beans is that every culture does beans their own fun, different way.
Yes, it's
And
true.
beans are full of fiber and they're good for you. So
Yes.
I went to New Orleans and I had red beans and rice for the first time in the
Yum.
capable way, that like in the way that someone does it, and it like knocks you off your feet. And it was the first time that I was like intent. I spent like 3 weeks. I didn't wanna look it up. I wanted to try to
Just try
remember
to remember.
what it
Oh,
tasted like, and then, like, kind of find out. And after a while, I was able to do it. This was in my 20s. I was able to make red beans and rice.
wow.
Um, but I still love red beans and rice. Like, what a fantastic comfort food. And
Mhm.
also, once again, and I love that when you showed the cover of that book, there
Yeah.
was longanisa, like, sausage. Because I know sausage is a prepared food, and we can run the whole gamut of like how processed some sausage is. But I do love meeting another culture that loves sausage, or like you know what I mean? Like this looks so similar to so many other
Yes.
comfort foods in other cultures, that's why there's a level of like you feel love when someone makes you good rice and beans, or something that just this love, this stew, a good stew. That's all.
Yes. And you're actually touching on a concept that I'm working on another cookbook. This book actually was announced already. It's by Puerto Rican author Von Diaz. Do you know who she
Woo!
is?
I do not.
Oh, she is the megaphone for Puerto Rican food. She is
Yay!
amazing. She's an educator and uh, like a cook at home, and has a book. She has a book called Coconuts and Collards,
Mm.
and then she's also writing a new book with me.
Yay! Congrats.
Called Islas. And it is that thesis that you were just talking about, how despite all of these colonized islands, or these islands that have gone through stuff, they have very similar cooking techniques and
Oh,
ingredients. Yes.
yes.
And so we are exploring a lot of the lesser known islands like the Seychelles and Curacao, and finding that they have a lot in common with like the Pacific Islands. And like it's just really cool and fascinating to be able to cook this food and show that, like, yo, first of all, we're resilient, second of all, is delicious, third of all, we're family.
I know. Okay, so that is the one thing that, like, I remember the first time that I would love one day you're gonna meet, but you have to meet a friend of mine, Marcus Cardona, another
Mhm.
comedian, Filipino, and him and I bonded. He wishes that he has this incredibly successful comedy show called Cabin Fever in Maine, and he was
Mhm.
like, if I could get any sponsorship, I'd really want it to be Spam, and I love that because like
Yes!
there is a interesting thing that happens, like back to food shaming, but like people be like, oh, I would never eat Spam,
Oh, come
but
on.
some cultures didn't have that choice,
Right.
and that's because of like trade. Yes, see, and like being colonized, and then embargoes, and like only being able to purchase the military occupying a place and bringing rations and new foods and all
Mm,
this.
mm, mm.
I love that you said it was resilience, because I'm fully aware that once again, a lot of these foods are like processed, but there's a beauty in the fact that like Marcus was showing me this like amazing, beautiful sushi that someone made that incorporated a little bit of Spam.
Yes.
And
Mhm.
it's not to take away, it's in addition to.
Yes. It's an
Yes,
augmenting
yes.
factor. Yes. Catching up in the chat with my friends here. Cloves are a no-go for schma, so almost all pumpkin spice applications are out. I see what you mean. Yes. Bear Claw has had sweet potato tempura, but not pumpkin. Schmas has had the kabocha ones, and it's great. You can even eat the skin. It's true. It's true. LT agrees that red beans and rice is amazing. And Schmas has made some Jamaican rice and peas, which uses kidney beans, not peas, according to the internet last week, and they were wonderful. Yeah. Sometimes it's pigeon peas also swapped in there.
Yes.
Which is why the name is Jamaican rice and peas.
Yes, and what's interesting is we call them, that would be arroz con gandules.
Right. Yes.
So there's a bunch of different names of them. Those are wonderful pigeon peas. Oh, so
yes, delicious. And then finally, this is something of a negative memory for you.
Oh my God. Okay, so I have a problem, guys. Can you help me, please? I only ever, for the most, I had a pretty when it comes to like traumas, I have very few. So this was traumatic, but not really. But the one and only time I ever recall my mom. Okay, so she used to make mashed potato, or she used to make a meatloaf with potatoes and carrots haphazardly just around it, like, like a one and done, like you're putting the
Yeah,
whole thing in the oven, and and I can't diminish that. I don't think mom knew that all of these things cook at different temperatures, but she would put it all in, right?
Oh shoot, mom.
And then she would serve it to us. And I remember one day I was like, I'm gonna eat all of this meat, but I want nothing to do with these potatoes. Like, I was just so tired of these roasted potatoes and carrots. So I got this genius idea to mash them and kind of like, do the whole, it's a classic move, it's just move them around on the plate. And I, finished my dinner, give my mother my plate, go get to bed. Waking up the next morning, she's cooking something else. I'm super excited. And when we got back downstairs, my mom takes yesterday's plate that she had saved and covered with tinfoil.
Oh, damn, mom.
And she says, "Don't think I didn't see that you didn't eat your vegetables yesterday. So these are your vegetables for today."
Oh, no.
And when I tell you that I have such a deep hatred, like a weird trigger, it's so rare that I can really enjoy roast potatoes. So guys, any recommendations will help, because roast potatoes can be really good, but there is a weird gray area for me that it just reminds me of the weird, and like the carrots the next day were even worse.
They were like wet and wrinkly and like, yeah. I know what you mean.
So I guess if anybody has any, please DM me, send me a message on Twitch, Instagram.
Yeah.
Tell me your roast potato. How do I let these win my heart as an adult?
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm a little asthmatic. But my secret to roasting potatoes is 425 degrees. So it's like hotter. It's hotter. And before you put it in the oven, I like to toss it in olive oil and, get this, mustard.
Ooh, powdered or
no, like squeezy mustard.
Squeezy mustard, okay.
So olive oil, mustard, and then whatever seasonings you like, salt, pepper, onion powder or garlic powder, whatever. But that mustard, when it dries up, becomes a crust, which is so cool. So you toss that every 15 minutes until it's the crispy, desirable potato that you want it to be. But that's my potato secret.
I'm gonna try this mustard one.
Yes, it's delicious.
Ooh, you guys are giving me real recipes. You guys are the best.
Yeah. LT says same. I use mustard when roasting too. Shma says bake them at 425 for 20 minutes with olive oil, salt, and pepper. They brown and crisp. So that's like the base recipe of what I was going for. But if you add the mustard, it's great. You can also do it with mayo as well, because there's this concept of people have been making grilled cheeses with mayo on the outside because it crisps up better than butter.
It absolutely does. And I grew up, my mother made them that way. Yeah.
Schmoss also has another one: mixed prepared horseradish and mayo for an incredible pairing for potatoes. So
Horse.
we got some helpful folks in the chat. You
I was
see,
about
you
to say,
see.
I am jotting this down.
Oh, Toria says, "Oh, sweets, I'm British enough to make you a good roast."
Thank you. Thank you. Please clean my memory of the trauma. Oh my God. I will never, I remember looking at her like, you saved that. You saved that
No,
from
you
yesterday.
didn't. Oh my god. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen so you can see our big ass heads now. I mean, if my mother had saved my plate and presented it to me the next morning, I'd have I'd have run back upstairs.
Oh man. And once again, I think that's the thing with like that's why we have to live in a world where we make sure that nobody we try our best always to make sure that people have food. Because I think when I think
Yes.
back on all of the experiences that I have that kind of have a negative connotation with food, it is a lot of times linked to not having
Scarcity.
enough. Yeah, And even when I was a high school teacher, I realized that like very often so much of what is going on in a home that can just be helped a little bit. I think we realized that over the pandemic too.
Yes.
They made sure that people had a little bit of extra money and, quality of life through the roof.
Yeah, you were so right about that correlation. And way to bring it around, for like you gave a real reason. Like this, you going deep there, Zilla. I wasn't expecting this, but that's
Well,
nice.
what's funny is that I don't want to talk about traumatic foods, but then I was also like, I am truly curious, and I am totally gonna make potatoes at 425 for 20 minutes.
There you go.
I'm gonna do little batches. One's gonna have horseradish, one's gonna have mustard, one's gonna have mayo. I love it.
We have a method here from Torio. It says parboil them. So for
Ooh.
anyone who doesn't know what parboiling is, it is just cooking the potatoes enough in water so that they're just a little tender, not all the way through cooked yet, because if you cook them all the way, they're going to get mushy. So parboiling is maybe only 8 to 10 minutes. Prepare the oven, put the tray in, drain the potatoes, put a lid on the pot, smash them around to rough the edges, and then oil and season. Quickly toss onto the hot pan so they start frying and get in the oven 45 minutes. 180 Celsius. I want to make sure we know that we're talking to somebody from the UK.
First of all, this sounds amazing. I recently saw someone on television taking the parboiled potatoes and taking a shot glass and just mashing them ever so slightly.
Yes, the smashed potato method is also very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do baby potatoes that we parboil as well, and then once they're cooled off, you can slowly smash them on a cutting board with the bottom of the shot glass. Don't hammer it because you might break.
Poor things. No,
you might break pieces off. You want to keep it uniform and
yes,
still the same. The height,
yes,
consistent height.
You just kind of squish it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
What's an Aleppo pepper? I see this.
Yes. Okay. Schmaz has another advice here. Tempering spices in oil. This is an Indian method of spicing things. So you're basically infusing olive oil. So like paprika or Aleppo pepper. Aleppo pepper is from Aleppo, but it's a mild chili pepper.
Okay, cool,
it's pretty popular right now. So you might not find Aleppo. You might find Urfa, Urfa, which is very similar. Or Calabrian chilies are also on that spectrum of lovely chili peppers to use. You toss them in olive oil, livens them up so much, and then throw the potatoes in. I'm a huge fan of the paprika potatoes. That is that comes from tapas, the Spanish fried potatoes. Those are delicious. Yes, Toria agrees. Smashing is great and fun. More advice from Shmas. A second fry the next day is a great way to change up leftovers with low effort. Like double fried potatoes is a thing.
Double fried potatoes is a thing.
You remember pommes frites? In the
yeah.
Pommes frites, the French fry place. They do the double fry on their French fries.
Pommes frites, which famously, like the building next to it exploded.
So yes, that was very tragic.
Yeah. And I have to say, I love a simple business model.
Yes.
And there was something so awesome about those tiny Belgian fry shops, where it's just them moving them along the line. And yeah, what sauce you want? Get out of here. Go get drunk.
It's so funny. Sorry, I'm reaching for my inhaler because I'm coughing a little too much.
Please take care.
I
Come
have a
on.
weird story about Pomfrey.
Tell me.
So, I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the guys in there are Filipino.
Yes, then the pommes frites
The
place, right?
Pomfrey guys are always Filipino. I went in there drunk one night, and it was just I'm in line, and then one of them looks at me and turns to another guy, taps him on the shoulder, whispers to him, and then they all turn around and look at me, and they're all whispering and like, because the Filipinos don't point with their fingers, they point with their mouth. They go. They go over there, so they're pointing with their lips. Bye, Schmas. Thanks for hanging out.
Oh, thank you so much for your recipes.
Yeah, thanks for helping out. That was so helpful earlier. I was standing there like drunk, like what are they staring at me for? And I order my fries, and they're all like reverent. Like I'm like, what is happening? They hand me the fries, and they're like, "Don't pay," and I'm like, "What?" They're like, "You're Josephine Jimenez," and I'm like, "What?" I was like, "That's not my name." And they were like, "We won't tell anyone."
Who's Josephine Jimenez?
So I went home and I Googled the hell out of this person. I was like, "Who's Josephine Jimenez?" She is an actress and a model from the Philippines.
Wait a minute.
That I don't think I look anything like her.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I bet you do. You are beautiful, and I bet you. Wait, Josephine Jimenez. Hold on.
Yes, is that her name? Josephine Jimenez. Is that her name?
It came up. Hold on.
No, different. This is different. No, what's her name? Something Jimenez.
Oh wait, hold on.
I
You're gonna
forget.
put Jimenez?
Joyce. Is it Joyce? It's Joyce Jimenez.
Hold on. I'm excited.
That's Joyce Jimenez. Sorry, Joyce with a Joyce with a Jimenez. I don't think I look like her at all, but apparently the guys at Pomfrey think it's me.
Okay, first of all, Joyce Jimenez is beautiful, and so are you. So like I get it.
I mean, sure, but I don't think
And
our
also it's
features
free.
are the same.
It's free frites.
True. I mean, I was drunk. I walked out of there with the fries like, "Okay, I believe you."
Yo.
I'm Joyce, I guess.
I love that they just were like, you don't have to pay.
I was like, "What?"
You can leave. Go ahead.
I was like, "Thank you." Eating my fries on
Free
the street.
fries? Come on now.
Yeah, ridiculous. All right, friends, we've made it to the last segment of the show. Can you believe this? Oh my gosh. Zilla, thank you so much for sending those photos.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And regaling us with stories about things you like. But for now, friends, let's pretend we're on Chopped.
Oh my goodness.
If you don't know this TV show, there's a basket with 4 mystery ingredients in it, and chefs have to use them to make a dish. In our case, you, the chat, will tell us what's in that basket. So please shout out an ingredient for us to put in there, and those first 4 will be the ones that we use. There are no wrong answers. The purpose of the exercise is to think about how far the ingredients can go and maybe inspire your next meal. I'll go through each ingredient individually, but feel free to just start telling us how you combine 2, 3, or all 4 ingredients. No pressure at all. Imagine you have a basic pantry and all the tools and time you need. Just remember to feature the stuff in the basket. Let's go. Pumpkin-shaped sugar cookies. Goddamn. Okay. Caramelized onions. Ooh. All right. Thank you. No, I think that tube of sugar cookies is a great ingredient, LT. Well, let's keep it. Let's keep it. We got bear claw, caramelized onions. Need a couple more ideas, friends. If you are in the chat and hanging around and lurking, let us know. But for now, I'll say that the Pillsbury tube of sugar cookies is ready to bake. And it is you know, it's very easily rolled out into whatever shapes and structures that you would want. So you could invariably make containers out of it. You could make structures out of it if you made building materials, you know, out of the cookie stuff. Let's see. We got rhubarb from Bear Claw. All right, cool. Caramelized onions. So caramelized onions are already cooked. So thankfully, that will make things quicker for you. But as a tasting note, caramelized onions are on the sweeter side. Depending on what kind of onion you use, I mean, they still bring out the sugars as you cook them slowly. A lot of the water content has been gone. But if you use like Vidalia onions, those are going to be way sweeter than red onions or white onions or yellow onions. Rhubarb. I don't remember exactly everything about rhubarb, but we've definitely talked about it before on the show. It's a fleshy, edible stock of species and hybrids of rheum in the family Polygonuaceae, which are cooked and used for food. Okay, thank you. It is very tart by itself. It's very tart by itself, and so it needs to be cooked and or
can it poison you? Is there
I feel like a part of the plant is poisonous. I don't remember which part, but a lot of rhubarb recipes tend to have a lot of sugar. And as they bake or roast, they give off a lot of its, like the cell walls break and it releases all the liquid inside.
Okay.
And let's see. So that was sugar cookie dough, caramelized onions, rhubarb, and from Toria, buckwheat flour. Interesting. Those are our 4 ingredients. Buckwheat flour. Let's get a little primer on that. I've made pancakes with them before. According to Bob's Red Mill, organic buckwheat flour is all pop-ups. Why you gotta do this to me? Made from 100% whole grain buckwheat groats, so it comes from the grain. Despite the name, buckwheat isn't related to wheat. It's naturally gluten-free. And you can use it for making delicious pancakes, soba noodles, blini, and a replacement for wheat flour in baked goods. So these are all great ingredients. Does anyone have any ideas so far? Oh, we've got a good fact from Toria here. Rhubarb leaves are poisonous.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so we're not eating the leaves. We're eating the stalks only.
I like the idea of soba noodles. I didn't think that. I was also on the team of people who thought you could only make buckwheat pancakes, but soba noodles, you know, might go nice with our caramelized onions because I can't figure out where those caramelized onions go else.
No, it's already a good start. This is already a good start. LT asks, is onion cooked in the candied count? Oh, wait, what? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. Candied something.
Oh, I see. Caramel, like actual caramelized onions, like
a
caramel apple.
Oh, that would be cool. I would try it. I would
try it. What would it be? White, red, yellow? Like what onion? What type of onion would you use?
Oh, I don't know. Let me see. Onion cooked in the actual caramel. So the thing about caramel is it's at a very high temperature because you're trying to melt that sugar. So you'd have to be careful of when you add it in the recipe because it could very well burn if you're trying it in the very beginning. So probably toward the end, you could probably cook it. Not cook it, but like fold it in.
Okay. We could fold it in.
We could fold it in, maybe.
Okay. I like that you clarified, you know, pumpkin-shaped the cookies in the tube. Like now because I immediately thought of those ones from Walmart that have the thick like
icing on top.
Yeah, no, but you were like, no, we're gonna have the roll because now that gives us some flexibility.
Yes.
I like how you said we could build structures or vessels. So this is gonna sound gross and it doesn't match at all.
No, please tell us.
But if we did if we used our caramelized onions to make a French onion soup of sorts, and then the bowl.
A sugar cookie bowl. Did you say that on my show? That is the spirit of this show. That is absolutely the spirit of this show. That is brilliant.
Thank you.
We
I
love
tried.
it. We love it. I mean, what if we did the sugar cookie bowl and had the soba noodles in
Yeah. The sugar
it?
the sugar cookie bowl opens so many opportunities now. Opportunities.
Oh, Bear Claw says sugar cookie crouton. Why
Sugar
not?
cookie croutons
Why not?
with the ghost colors on them. I
Yeah,
mean the
like the
pumpkin. The
orange
lit-
swirl, like going through it. These soba noodles are actually brilliant. Because not only can you make soupy soba noodles, you could do noodle salad. So
yeah.
you could boil the noodles, drain them, toss them with the caramelized onion, have a noodle salad, have some sesame oil and some chives. Easy, right? But you know what you can also do with that is you can deep fry noodles as well. So we could make a nest, like a crunchy nest of the soba noodles, and
Okay.
then treat it like nachos, like we put toppings on top of that. So we could have, what were the other things? So you have a caramelized onion. Uh, 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 we could do a rhubarb chutney.
Okay.
So go savory with the rhubarb, cook it down with some vinegar and some mustard seed and a little bit of sugar to take out that really tart note in there. And then finish it off with our friend the scallions.
Shout out to Green.
Shout out to green onions. Shout out. Yeah. So, imagine, friends, that you just had a basic kitchen that had, like, just a supermarket aisle of stuff that you could supplement. So, yeah, rhubarb chutney. This Victoria's like, oh my God.
Yes, rhubarb chutney sounds amazing. I can
Hmm.
also go back to like what is it? Sandra Lee, like really thuggish, crazy. But what if we used the buckwheat flour to make like a rhubarb cobbler, and then we did a pumpkin cookie lattice overlay. Oh man.
That's pretty good. That's really good. Oh my gosh. You
So
just you just galaxy brained all of us.
you can tell that I smoked a little weed before I got here.
We're all about it. We're all about it. Friends, if you are just joining the chat, tell us how you would combine sugar cookie dough, caramelized onions, rhubarb, and buckwheat flour in a dish. So what if we did, so adding on to your dish, so you had the sugar cookie lattice. What if we did a buckwheat pie crust on the bottom, like a crumble crust, like a graham cracker crust on the bottom? And then had your rhubarb cobbler inside. Yeah, and then had our sugar cookie. I think that's a great
The
teamwork.
sugar cookie could also be a part of the crust, right? Because
Yeah.
like I've had pie crust that had like even pretzels mashed in them to
Oh
add a little bit
yeah.
of salty. So
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Friends, let us know in the chat how you would combine those ingredients. We're on a roll. I love this. We're on a roll. We're on a roll. So what if let's see, what if we made a bowl out of, how I said we could deep fry those noodles? What if we made a bowl out of it
mhm.
and it was a vehicle for I don't know, more noodles and I'm trying to think. Like if we had a taco salad, you know how there's the tortilla bowl?
Yes.
Like what other kinds of things could we put in the noodle bowl that's deep fried that you could also eat? It's like crispy.
Mm.
Mm. Oh wait, okay. LT is coming in hot. Here's my silly idea: rhubarb ice cream topped with the cookies and the candied onions as worms, like a holiday theme. That's
Damn.
cute.
Damn.
No, it's fine. These are all good ideas. Because one day maybe we'll make them.
This is true.
This is true. Um, Another way to think about this exercise, my friends, is to think about something you already know how to make, like a sandwich or a soup or a drink, and then swap out one of the ingredients. Like a sandwich. We could do grilled cheese with the onion. We could do buckwheat bread,
We could
like
do
a
buckwheat bread.
buckwheat bread with a grilled cheese. You could do rhubarb jam with a nice cheddar.
Cheddar.
Nice cheddar. We could do cookie sandwiches. Okay, so what if we did something that was like Oreo-like with the
Or
cookie? We could just, I mean, you make just a bunch of sugar cookie sandwiches.
yes,
We
with
did
some
a
rhubarb jam.
rhubarb
Yeah.
jam in the middle. They see that's achievable, isn't it? I feel like that's achievable.
That's or a Linzer tart made out of
Oh yeah,
the pumpkin cookies and the rhubarb.
yeah. These are all great. Last call for ideas, friends. We're nearing the end of the show. How would you combine, again, rhubarb, caramelized onion, sugar cookie dough, and buckwheat flour? What else did they say about buckwheat flour? Blini. So blini are the little pancakes that you would eat caviar with. The little Russian pancakes. So we could do silver dollar buckwheat pancakes. I had an uncle who was lactose intolerant, and he used orange juice in his buckwheat pancakes.
How did they taste?
Delicious. They still rose. I mean, milk is a binder, so that it was just kind of pulling the ingredients together, and so orange juice still did the trick. Still had a
That's
rising
really
agent.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's in a little bit of an acquired taste, but if you're, I don't really like a lot of sweets, so that was kind of perfect for me. I don't know. What else did he say? Blini, and what was the last thing? Soba noodles, pancakes. So lots of pancake stuff here. Huh. I mean, just some wonderful, we haven't really said it formally, but like buckwheat pancakes with a rhubarb compote.
Oh
And
yeah,
some freaking
absolutely.
powdered sugar. That's
Yes.
it. It's over. Oh, LT asks, before it's over, can I ask where you got the Ewing shirt?
Oh, my Ewing shirt is from a Etsy, I believe, but it's very old. That's why I cut the this is what happens. This is the the way that shirts exist in my life. They are full, they have sleeves, and then they start looking shabby, and I cut the sleeves off. But I wear this because I am a Knicks fan, but from this many years ago.
Sure.
A long
Yes.
time ago. The
Yes,
Patrick
yes.
Ewing pre-Space Jam. So the first Space Jam, my God. But yes, all right. Forgot that they made a new one.
I know, I forgot to. Friends, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much to Zilla for being here
Oh,
and
thank you so much for
sharing your
helping me
photos.
work through my trauma with potatoes.
We're gonna keep tweeting potato ideas at you, I think.
Please do.
Oh,
I love it.
I got your Twitter account here, but can you tell the folks in the chat how else they can support and follow you?
Okay, so if you like Twitch, I have a show called Snooze Button where I read the newspaper and I talk about current events. So please follow me on Twitch at Zilla_Vodnas. You can also find me on Instagram. If you're local in New York, I do have some upcoming shows. And if not, I will be streaming tonight at 10 p.m. on my Twitch channel. With a comedian, PD Diabru. We're going to be doing a little Halloween party of sorts and also talking about the newspaper. But yeah, thank you for having me. And please do, guys, send me potato recipes.
Yeah, we will. And just to close up with everyone else, a few personal projects for me. Fun City is coming back next Friday, November 11th. We are coming back with what we're calling quote season 2, which it's not really seasons because we were interrupted by a pandemic. But in the meantime, we have lots of stuff to listen to. We have a one shot of the metal as fuck game called Morkborg, death metal tabletop RPG. And we also have a public link to our Gen Con live stream where we visit Times Square. It is titled One Square Block, and it is AR Adventure in Shadowrun. I know that was a lot of words to say in a row, but you can find out more at patreon.com/FunCityVentures. And I'm hosting that Netflix party on Friday at 8 p.m. If you'd like to participate, join my Patreon, which is linked below this video, or you can DM me on Twitter at Randwiches, and I will happily send you the link because you're watching the show and you're very nice to me. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your Wednesday. Stay tuned for a little bit of a raid while we sign off. But thank you so much to everybody. Next week, Oh, what is happening next week? Oh, next Wednesday, my guest is Wythe Marshall, the author of Stillfleet, which is the game I played during our Float City miniseries last year. He is also an expert on vertical farming. So we'll be talking tech about that next week. So again, thank you to Zilla. Thank you for being here. Thank you to everybody in the chat. And we will see you next week, next Wednesday, 5 p.m. on Attack the Pantry. Boo, boo, boo.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. We like you.